Tim Kawakami, Mercury News. Steve, do you think your team lost its composure, specifically Steph, with throwing the mouthpiece and getting ejected?
Well, that had nothing to do with the outcome. The outcome was decided, but he had every right to be upset. He's the MVP of the league. He gets 6 fouls called on him. 3 of them were absolutely ridiculous. He steals the ball from Kyrie clean at one point. LeBron flops on the last one. Jason Phillips falls for a flop. This is the MVP of the league. We're talking about these touch fouls in the NBA Finals. Let me be clear. We did not lose because of the officiating. They totally outplayed us, and Cleveland deserved to win. But those three of the 6 fouls were incredibly inappropriate calls for anybody, much less the MVP of the league.
So are you okay with him throwing his mouthpiece?
Yeah, I'm happy he threw his mouthpiece. He should be upset. It's the finals, and everybody's competing out there, and there's fouls on every play. It's a physical game, and I just think that I think Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the way we run our offense, we're cutting through the lane. We're a rhythm offense. If they're going to let Cleveland grab and hold these guys constantly on their cuts, and then you're going to call these ticky-tack fouls on the MVP of the league to foul them out, I don't agree with that.
Are you worried about your team's emotions at all, though, going into Game 7?
Not at all. Not at all. I think if you start out every season and you say, we get a Game 7, we get one game at home to win the NBA championship, I'll take it every time. So I can't wait for Sunday. I think we'll be fine. Obviously, Cleveland has played well the last 2 games, and we've got to play better. But I'm confident we will. And we're in a spot that 29 other teams would love to be in.
Over here on the right.
Joseph Cacharo, The Score. Steve, you played with Michael and other great players, and you've coached a 2-time MVP, but are there still times, even as an opposing coach competing against them, that LeBron even leaves you a bit awestruck with some of the things he does?
He's a fantastic player, brilliant player. He's so athletic and strong, and tonight, he was hitting his jump shot, and he played a brilliant game.
Tim in the back.
Steve, all the way to the back, Tim Reynolds of the AP. There was an incident in Miami a few years ago when I think it was Udonis threw a mouthpiece. I think it may have struck Joey Crawford. I think he got a game for it, and that was in the postseason. Yeah. For as ridiculous as it may sound, are you at all concerned that the league's going to do something to Steph going into Game 7?
No, I'm not concerned about that.
Lowell in the front.
Lowell Crone, Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Steve, you're confident, as you should be, that you can win Game 7, but you have lost 2 in a row now. Where does your confidence come from? Why do you think you'll prevail? Our
confidence comes from being the defending champions, from winning at an incredibly high rate the last 2 years. And let's be frank, we were put in a pretty difficult position in Game 5 without one of our best players. And we didn't respond well enough. We needed to play better in Game 5. But we'll have Draymond for Game 7. We'll have our home crowd. We'll have everybody but Bogues. We missed Bogues tonight, but we still feel very confident that we can win without him. And like I said, you get one home game to win the NBA title. That's not a bad deal.
In the front again.
Over here, Steve. Phil Barber, Press Democrat. What was going on with Iguodala's back? What was your calculus in deciding to leave him out there when he was obviously a little hindered? And are you concerned at all about him for Sunday?
Well, his back tightened up. I continued to talk with the trainers throughout the game. Wanted to make sure it wasn't anything that was going to get worse. And so his back was tight, but, we tried to limit his minutes as much as we could. He wanted to play. And, this is probably the first time I'm happy that we have 2 days before a game in this series. So hopefully he'll get some treatment and be ready to roll for Game 7.
Ron on this side.
Steve, Ron Krychek from the Chronicle. What happened in the first quarter? How would you explain what happened and why you guys played so poorly?
I thought, obviously Cleveland brought a lot of force to the game. I thought we had some good shots early that didn't go in, and it was like 6-0 after about 4 minutes. Our defense was pretty good. They had a couple runouts where they got layups, but our half-court defense was good. We just could not get a shot to fall, and then they just blitzed us. They as I said, they deserved to win the game. They outplayed us, and it was too difficult to come back from 20 down. We made a good push in the second half, but that first quarter was that was a good punch from them.
Any other questions? Last two, Tim, and we'll go right over here. Third row, 1, 2, and then one in the front.
Shot goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But at this point, are you concerned about where his game is? You clearly went away from him in the second half of this game. Where do you think he stands going into Game 7, just mentally and physically?
Well, he's had 2 tough games in a row, but this is the NBA playoffs. This is what happens. It happened to me several times in the playoffs when I was playing. You have a couple bad games. You think too much. You're struggling. The focus is brighter. The lights are brighter during the playoffs, so everybody notices. The regular season, you have a couple bad games, nobody cares. But I'm really confident in Harrison. He's going to start on Sunday, and he's still one of our key guys, and I'm very confident that he'll come out and play well.
Last question right here.
Steve Rayjeski, ESPN at 90. Early in the series, Clay and Steph were struggling, and the other guys were kind of carrying them. Somebody always had a big game, Sean or Draymond. Now they are seemingly struggling, so many of them. Sean had a bad game. Draymond, I don't know how you'd characterize his contribution today. And Harrison, as just was mentioned. But so many other guys. How do you get all of them playing well at the same time, enough of them at least, to be representative of the team that you've been all this past year, these past 2 years? What's going to be the key in Game 7?
Well, I thought Draymond played well. I mean, he didn't score a lot of points, but I thought he played well. He really battled defensively. 10 boards, 6 assists. He only had 1 turnover. I thought he was really solid. Sean didn't shoot the ball well. Harrison struggled a little bit, but you go game to game and you can just look at the roster, the box score, and pick it apart. Some guys play well, some guys don't. It's just the way it goes. It's it's part of playoff basketball. So we'll rally the troops. We'll get everybody ready for Game 7. As I said, a home game to win the NBA title. It's as good as it gets. So we're excited to be flying home and get our fans behind us, and we'll be ready to roll. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.